Okay. Mornings. I guess I didn't try to join Hana for fun times. Poor Hana slash Takako slash Charlotte slash whoever else is in there, I guess. And with the sun rising comes another disturbance. Both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. And I have very fine tastes, I shall have you know. When the piercing rings of a doorbell reaches even the study, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has chased away the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it's going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the racket even lasts another minute, I'm peeling myself off the chair and heading straight for the main door. There will be a murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. It seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting in my nerves as of late.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
Gordon Bennett! In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is how odd my own wife has been acting as of late. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. And it's our boy, Zachary. Okay, so even this is considered all new, even though we've done this before. Okay, good to know. And maybe it should be appropriately there, considering the person on the other side and the hour he dared appear on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger, and before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hana will disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him, after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'll say. But she's not here, isn't she? What she doesn't know...
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hana's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually, he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental, just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds. Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Shrokin will take care of it if need be. It's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, I need rest, even for just a few hours. My lovely wife's still fast asleep when I finally join her in our bed. As odd as she has been acting lately, her company's nice after spending long, grueling hours going through business documents. Then again, it's not like I'd be losing out much if I take a break or two. In fact, all I have to do is say the word and Vance General Electronics' stocks are going to go down. That's the least I can do after Rochelle Vance's outburst during the party. I highly doubt she will be Rochelle Lee for long, not if Harvey has any sense in him. So, with a sigh, I drift off, setting aside my problems if only for a few hours. Waking up to find my bed empty hours later is a strange sensation. Not to speak ill of Hana, but I've always woken up first, even in the early hours of our marriage. Mostly because I've always been accustomed to doing so. I mean, you got up at 6, came back to bed. I don't know. Did you sleep for like 2 more hours or something? 1 more hour? As a child, I woke up early to escape the house before one of Mother's scheduled day clients came in. Later on, it was to assist with breakfast and to prepare for school. And it just kept with me through the years for one reason or another. If there was no reason to wake up at 6 in the morning, my mind would always find reason too. To work, to nurse a terrible hangover, to make sure I was the one leaving the bed first, just because, and not the other way around. Checking the time on my phone shows that it's already 8:30. But what can I do about it? Getting up is an entirely different problem on its own. Waking up after getting only a few hours of sleep in has my body stiff and sore and my mind feeling lethargic. A part of me wants to go back and doze off again, an alien feeling to me, but it's already far too late for my tastes. All I can manage is to sit up before there's a knock on the door.
Yes, come in. I'm decent. I don't see why you have to knock.
Even if I was only in my knickers, there's only 2 others inside the house aside from myself. Force of habit for a certain maidservant, perhaps. I've arranged for the staff to have the Sunday off, what with it so close to a holiday anyway, so that I can have some peace and privacy. The security outside the house doesn't count, of course. There's no need for Hana to knock, so I expect to see the butler and ready myself for reproach. To see that it is Hana is odd, but not a cause for concern. Most likely she too found it strange to see me still sleeping and had let me indulge. Yet there is something off. I just can't put a finger on what it is. Is it the dead look in her eyes? The paleness of her skin? The new necklace she has acquired? Who can say? Whatever it is, it can wait. Besides, when there are strange things, it is better to wait them out, as they often become apparent with time. Not that I should complain when she greets me with a sunny smile on her face and a tray of food.
Good morning, dear. It looks like I overslept, huh? I haven't had that pleasure in a long while.
You should really indulge in it a bit more, my prince. I hope you do not mind, but I made breakfast for you.
I've been expecting her to tell me that she brought the meal up in order to eat together, not that she made it. For in all our marriage, Hana had never cooked once. Though I can hardly find it in me to question her efforts. Unless she was trying to poison me. Perish the thought. But she carries with her a platter of pies. Delicious-looking, round pockets of goodness. I'll have no second thoughts in fishing one off the plate with a hum, in fact. It smells divine, and it looks the part as well. I'm worried about this pie. The crust from outside looks like it's been baked to a golden and flaky perfection. The egg wash wasn't forgotten either, giving it a nice finish.
You made these? You're not pulling my leg, are you? These look great.
I make only the best for you, my love. Do try it out yourself, yes? I want to see what you make of it. Perhaps I will be able to prepare more meals for you in the future.
Breakfast in bed? You spoil me, darling. Well, I can't say no to that, can I? Bon appetit.
Story updated. What does that mean? The crust of the pie breaks easily with a bite, and I'm greeted with the taste of nice buttery pastry. But looking back down at the pie, I feel a bit put off. Ugh! Ugh! There's bones and blood in there. Woman? Woman! What did you put in here? Is that hair still? Did you cook a live mouse? Ew. Ugh. The meat is red and a tad bit soggy, though I can't place what would make it that way. It tastes of turkey more than beef, though an odd one at that. Mouse tastes like turkey. Good to know. There's no real sauce of marinade to excuse the juice. It tastes like turkey that's been kept too long in the fridge after being roasted and carved. Definitely white meat, at the very least, and well done as well. The thing is tough, though. Stringy and sinewy, which would say it's more muscle than anything. And
Ugh, what is...
I sputter, try to spit out whatever it might be. A few fine strands of something, thankfully, comes out. Although if I've swallowed any, it's far too late. Not unless I want to act like a cat trying to cough up a fur ball. It's just unfortunate the odd sensation of it being stuck in my throat still lingers, even as I down the glass of juice she has brought with the meal.
Buttercup, are you sure the ingredients you used are clean?
Oh, I do apologize. That must be... Chef has been feeding some stray cats lately.
What does that have to do with anything?
There are some roaming around the property. I saw him petting one just the other day during his break. Said he found it in the cellar, but you have nothing to worry about, my love. I took care of it.
Did you cook a cat into pies? She laughs then, probably because of the funny look on my face. But I just have this funny image in my head of Hana chasing after a cat to shoo it out. We aren't cat people, but I doubt that means she would be cruel to the feline.
Maybe the other pies are clean.
I don't quite have the appetite for breakfast anymore. But thanks. Bloody cats.
If that is what you wish, all the same, it will give me more time to spend with you. You will spend time with me, yes?
I did tell myself that I would let myself have the day off today. But she doesn't know that. And I can't help but feel that offness again as her eyes burn through me. There is an eagerness there, a hunger which makes my skin crawl, and a natural reaction. I can do little else but nod, because answering otherwise seems the wrong thing to do.
Would it please you to have some tea then? I can fetch it if you wish.
Pushing myself off the bed with a groan, I roll my eyes and sigh. The crick I feel in my neck is easily taken care of, and I try to flatten my bed head to something a bit tamer. All throughout, Hana still watches me, expectant and doting.
No need for that. We can have tea in the parlor, if you don't mind. Really now, Hana, there's no need to busy yourself over it.
I shall go ahead and prepare the parlor then.
Just relax.
I barely said 2 words before she's out the door, however, and I'm left speaking to air.
Hana?
Buttercup?
What is up with that woman?
Nothing good. Though perhaps I should have said no. Perhaps I should have feigned business or claimed a restlessness that would let me out of the house, away from her and her pies. Because as soon as I've stated my intent to laze the day away, that woman would neither let me lift a finger nor step a foot outside. She is animated, oddly so, moving about the parlor and fetching things for me that she deemed necessary. And were necessary, as if she knows what I need or want before I can even voice it aloud. A pillow for my feet, and a book to read through, I cannot for the life... And a book to read, though I cannot for the life of me focus on it. It does not bother me too much, as I've read The Picture of Dorian Gray twice over. Oh. I knew nothing but shadows, and I thought them to be real. I should be glad for the attention and the doting, really. Instead, an uneasiness settles itself into my stomach.
Why don't you just sit down and relax, dear? We are supposed to be spending time together. I don't think you rushing around like a handmaid is how I pictured it.
Mm-hmm.
You are wearing yourself out, and the sun is still high in the sky.
There's a stiff jerk of her head, as if to say no, while she busies herself with making tea with water already lukewarm. My instruction to take leave may be the only one she refuses to follow. Even if I express concern for her well-being and point out that there are others assigned to the tasks she wishes to carry out.
You do not need the others. You have me. I wish to show my usefulness, and I wish that you not ask me to leave.
You are not one of the servants, Hana.
It was a thought that escapes my mouth, and I prepare myself for a reprimanding. Because servants? Lucille Mitchell-Wright, these are our employees, and you will treat them with respect at the very least. Yet that didn't come.
Of course. Of course I'm not a servant. I am your wife. Your princess.
I think we're both a bit too old to be playing princes and princesses. I do not know what brought on such behavior from her. Yet I can't bring myself to scoff at the idea. Not when she looks torn and kind words might bring her some degree of comfort. I will indulge in this delusional talk of monarchy to an extent. One could suppose that Hana is indeed Luxburn royalty, after all. But as I've said in the past, this sort of obsession does not quite suit me. Yes, I do crave power and attention, but this sort of thing is suffocating, stifling, wrong. It must seem complicated and contradicting, when, in all honesty, it's quite simple. If Hana were to ever put me on a pedestal, she would be turning into every other woman that I've managed to seduce due to my money and station. She'd be nothing. Less than the Hana that I have found to love. She'd be nothing but a mindless follower. Love and obsession is not one and the same. I don't want a lovesick woman who puts another before herself.
Princess. Oh, no, Hana. You are my queen. And a queen needs to sit next to her king. So please, sit.
Sit. I can still feel them. Little bugs on my skin, crawling and squirming. But I ignore them as Hana sits down next to me and I put my hand in hers. The touch nearly makes me want to pull away. For now, I feel them burrowing into my skin, digging holes into me, though there is nothing to be seen there. I clasp her hand, though her touch burns both cold and hot. I did not like the thought that Hana, my sunshine, my darling, is someone I should fear. It's a bit of a paradox. For all that I do and should feel at peace in this quiet moment, dread overtakes every part of me. A small voice in the back of my head screams that there is something wrong, but I cannot bring myself to look further into it. The whole thing doesn't even last.
The tea is ready. I should go. I've forgotten the milk and sugar in the kitchens. If you may excuse me.
Should I? Hey, Shroukin, since you're around, could you keep us company? Or you bring it? I don't know if this... I mean, Hana's gone, right? I assume neither of these are gonna, like, change affection with her? That didn't do anything. Have I really been so aloof that Hana has to question where she stands? That she thinks that acting subservient is the only way to have my attention? My affection? This is wrong.
Hana, just... Johans will get the tea things. Just...
Sit? Stay? No. Hana isn't some dog I have to leash and command.
Just be with me, even for a little while. We rarely have time nowadays, don't we? We're always so busy.
The others are always envious that my wife doesn't demand that we be joined by the hip. The freedom is nice, to know that I need not be tied down to another person at all hours of the day. But even I can admit this much.
I missed you, you know. Let's just sit down together, yes?
I do wonder if that's because of the affection we have between the two of you. What is it? It's not very high. It's actually below normal. Interesting. Very interesting. She looks conflicted, though the reason eludes me. In the end, she chooses to stay. A summon for milk and sugar to be brought in is sent out. All the while, Hana remains restless. She doesn't utter a peep as Shroukin brings in things for brunch, as I may or may not have hinted that I've yet to have breakfast. Tea things are set in place, along with sandwiches and all sorts of finger foods. But it's when the other man draws near to her, intent on serving tea, that Hana's calm starts to wither. Oh, look at that face. She's on her feet, hands out to take the teapot from him. The look on her face is one of disgust and annoyance. I've seen that expression before many times. In the mirror, but never on her. It doesn't suit her, much like the way she speaks now.
You are not needed here. You can leave. Now.
Oh, of course, madam. If you may excuse me, sir, I'll...
Shroukin, stay. Just let him do his job, Buttercup. That's what he's here for.
No, he is not supposed to be here. None of them are. This home is for you and I. Others are not welcome. I want them gone. They do not belong here. They are not like you and I.
Something is wrong. She's wrong. Hana had always been kind where I was not, and I loved her so because of it. Yet now there is no warmth in her voice, and the way she talks is too cutting and harsh. The way she holds herself is unsure, stiff and awkward as if she's filled in shoes too small. This isn't Hana. The thought itself is an impossibility. It's not like someone can be so easily replaced by an imposter. I would know. So why is she so wrong?
What's going on, Hana? What brought about this childish temper tantrum of yours?
Ooh.
You know well enough that what you ask is ridiculous.
What has caused her warmth to grow cold?
I don't know what brought this on. I don't know if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or if Johans or any of the other maids ripped your favorite dress or something. But I am not going to get rid of our staff just because you're acting like a child in a sulk.
And wasn't that something? Often enough, I'm the one who's compared to a little brat and not the other way around. But it didn't amuse me enough to distract me from the situation. Grasping at Hana's shaky hand before she actually does have a temper tantrum, I have to stop myself from flinching. Her skin is hot to the touch, and if the feeling of bugs on my skin bothered me before, they're nothing to the stinging sensation I feel right now. Having her hand in mine should feel right.
You still do not understand, do you, my love? Not yet.
No, he doesn't.
But you will.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
You will.
Cloudy eyes focus on me, ardent and filled with desire. It feels as if I'm being stripped until my very soul is bare. But it isn't a searching look, rather one that wishes to claim. The look she gives me is nothing short of unnerving. But watching as her eyes roll into the back of her head is a decidedly more terrifying sight. I let go and feel as her hand slips through mine before she falls to the ground, not intent on getting dragged down by dead weight. And doesn't that make me feel so horrible? It's an active reflex more than anything with the number of dead bodies I've handled in the past. It's never a pleasant affair when a corpse tilts forward and pins you down. That still doesn't make it any better, of course. But what can I do? Catch her? Well, yes. But it's a bit too late for that, isn't it? Inexplicably, the stinging sensation on my skin fades away. Not that what I'm feeling right now is any better. The whole thing brings unbidden images of Mother to mind. It makes me feel sick. I want to cry and beg, my audience be damned, but my scream dies out before it could reach my lips, a half-choked sob. Acting like a blubbering babe won't help. I've seen this happen before, but not to her.
Mom, please wake up. Please. I'll be a good boy. Just don't leave me.
Really, I should be more concerned. Yet here I am, a deathly calm befalling me. I waste no time kneeling by her side, tapping a hand to her cheek in a flimsy attempt to wake her. Her skin is too pale, and Shrokin does his best to find what is wrong with Hana. Even her golden hair has lost its sheen. Her pulse is quick, and her breathing shallow. I half expect her to be as cold as ice with how she looks, yet she still burns like a furnace. At the very least, that means she isn't dead. Yet.
Well, should we call for an ambulance?
If she doesn't wake up soon, yes. But it's best not to move her just yet, and...
Luke, what's going on? What happened?
I have no plans of apologizing as I shove the butler aside to check on Hana. Though she still lay on the ground, all that matters is that she's awake. That she isn't dead. Just the thought of it. Fuck, I don't know what I would have done if things were to the contrary.
Hey there, sunshine. How are you feeling? Do you think you're up to standing?
I don't feel too good, no. But I think I can stand.
She reaches out for my hand, and I'm quick to take it. Her cold and clammy skin is a cause for concern, but I force a reassuring smile on my face. At least, I hope it's reassuring. That isn't exactly an emotion I'm used to plastering on my face. I rarely have need or want to reassure anyone else. The most I can hope for is that I don't make her worry.
Come on then, let's get you up. Careful, careful. We don't want you to fall or break something.
Like a leg or your head. Though getting her up to her feet is easier said than done. She claims that she can manage to stand, but she's completely dead weight as I lift her up. Weak. Too weak. I can feel the trembling of her body as if just existing had exhausted her. I wonder if that was Hana that came back for a split second. The fact that she addressed him by name was interesting. Interesting. Oh, I guess that was the pie. Come Sunday morning, Hana catered to Luke hand and foot, much to his discomfort, even serving him food despite its questionable appearance and taste. Though he managed to stop her from fussing any further, without warning, she seizes. Soon enough, Stroken aids me, and we manage to let Hana onto a chair without further incident. I have half the mind to wrench free and run. This is all too familiar, and I wanted no part in this. But do I even have the choice? At the moment, I suppose, yes. I'm not running away. That's preposterous. I just need to get some air.
Stroken, take her up to our room and take care of her, all right? Schedule an immediate appointment to a physician. Get it done. As soon as possible. I just need to...
Breathe. I need to breathe. Aw, poor Luke. Gray skies loom over in the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxburn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me. And, for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I wonder if I can skip this bit. I can. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Though I believe in neither a heaven nor a hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true, as ridiculous as the idea is. I can't help but grow still, a chill growing up my spine when I do feel eyes upon me. For a while I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully I scan my surroundings, doing my best to not give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. But there's not a soul in sight on the field surrounding the mansion. Thought the maid was going to show up for sure. Maybe she can't if she's possessing Hana. Yet, they're on the balcony overlooking the garden. Oh. Interesting. On the balcony in the bedroom. It's hard to tell if it's the maid. I guess it would be the maid. I was trying to tell if it was like Hana standing there, but it's not the right dress. She stands there, and though I cannot see her face clearly from afar, I know she is the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothing. From this distance I can't discern what those stains on her clothing are. The woman gives off a rabid air and simply did not belong with her surroundings. That isn't what worries me, though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty state aside, there shouldn't be anyone else in the mansion aside from the three of us. And that's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
You! What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
It's a stupid thing to do, I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur-of-the-moment plan. From the height, there's no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would have only been able to sneak in there because Hana is asleep. Calling out to her would wake Hana, and at the very least call Johannes' attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gotten there without Hana calling for us. A new CG for that moment. Very interesting. Wanting some alone time and fresh air, Luke excused himself, lingering in the gardens as he remembered the memory of his late mother. It was all pleasant at first until he glimpsed someone watching him from the balcony. The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. probably drug-addled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. That changes nothing, of course, and doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom! Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Bursting in through the front doors, I'm greeted by Johans with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. There's a question on his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a curt nod before we rush up the foyer stairs. That woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the worst inside. Ah. Were you putting on the necklace? When we find Hana simply seated at her vanity, without a care in the world, my relief can't be any greater. I don't even question if she's well enough to be moving around yet. But that is soon followed by suspicion and caution. Without a word, I signal for Johans to search through the room for the intruder, even going so far as to slipping into the second bedroom. She couldn't have gone anywhere else. Not without getting our attention. Not without Hana noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have been coerced to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. If she is being forced to do this, she would be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. We should be ready for such things, after all, being the wealthy, powerful, and influential people that we are. And though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has the right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself in just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens a cord around her neck, and with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can be.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Is there something wrong?
She's definitely still possessed. There is no sign of coercion or deceit. She gives none. Everything looks fine. Seems fine. Hana says as much. Stepping out onto the balcony doesn't say anything differently. The outside is devoid of signs of any other human life with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure with how the sun has set, trying to locate anyone on the large property by itself would be futile. Whether it is the truth or a convenient lie, one could only assume that everything is all right. And even Johans is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
Yet I can't fight off the awful feeling that has taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody? Double check. Triple check everything. Check the whole house if you have to.
What's going on? What is all this, then?
He claims to have seen an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here. Are you sure of what you saw? Perhaps you were...
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad?
Maud?
Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me. It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
Even paranoid people can have enemies. My anger is easily roused, no thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime I don't know when. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many a time I've had to rely on it to survive on the streets as a child. To survive everything with how high I've managed to prop myself up. And I take any and all threats toward my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Interesting.
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
How dare you insinuate? A valid question, but...
I am not drunk.
In my state, I only realize how quiet Hana has gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. There is no clever quip of words or fond exasperation. She's only been watching me through all of this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixated on the sensation, Johans cuts in.
Whatever the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start. If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency. Are you all right, Hana? You seem disquieted.
Quite.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
It wasn't a hallucination. I'm sure of it. I feel like, I don't know, the ghost updated her programming. I don't know how else to say it. But she's playing at being Hana a little bit better than she was previously. But what can I do to prove otherwise?
Doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day, and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I ask how she knew what I was doing, a small fond smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. But does it really look like I'm that exhausted? I'm sure to be well rested despite it all, and it's not like I've done anything physically exhausting today. Beyond running here in a hurry, anyway. No doubt I've let a trail of the flowers in my mad dash, guess left. And I suppose I do look like a mess.
Rest sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
I'll stand guard outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about.
What happened to your accent, Shrokin? Nothing to worry about? I'm not so sure about that. But thinking any more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hana's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. Really little sleep was had, and I feel completely drained come morning. Even when Hana rises from bed in spite of a mild fever and invites me down to breakfast, I can't be bothered to drag myself out from the comfort of the sheets. It's not like I need to do something particularly important today. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps just a little. The strange sunny weather has been nice and all, but for it to return as it should be feels like a good sign of things to come. Perhaps things will settle back to normal, and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have to be anywhere in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather is making up for all the sunny days it has given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. It does let up within the quarter of an hour. However, a day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxburn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. Okay, so, whoops. I think this is the time that Kylie comes over to visit. I hope they did a damn good job at fixing this place, because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. Though Hana might find humor in it and perhaps ask me to sing in the rain to wear out my anger, I don't like the idea that the realty did a horrid patch job with the place. Well, Hana technically paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price the realty company sold it for. Not that it's something she should be fretting about at the moment when her health's not at its best. Hana is going to be brought to the hospital for a checkup today, and if anything, I prefer that she focus on getting better. That fever, no matter how slight it is, can't be good for her. What with her odd behavior recently. You'd think she hit her head hard against something while I wasn't looking. Perhaps a proper rest is all she needs, but I'd rather not assume things. I'm a businessman, not a doctor. Nicely done. Wonder of wonders why I even bother agreeing to babysitting duty at that. But here I am, scheduled as today's babysitter for Suarez's brat once her father drops her off the mansion steps. Though that is a worry for much, much later. If I wish to, I can ask that nobody bother me while I doze off in a cocoon of comforters. But as always, somebody has to be a buzzkill. Can I skip through the buzzkill? For a little bit. Hana, on the other hand, will be away for most of the day to get that fever checked, upon my insistence. It is a small relief that Johans will be with her.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. but they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Oh, my girl. Okay. So we can skip the Kylie date for the most part. This is good. Can move on to bigger and brighter things. Ah, hello. Did you leave Hana to hang out with me today? Is that what's going on? Okay, so that's all the same. The woman from the balcony stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. And I can skip through it all. Haha! Okay, so Hana's, I assuming, missing. That didn't play out all that differently, interestingly enough. Okay. So we're threatening people.
Hana?
Ash lived, thankfully. And now we're caught up back to the foyer scene. That's good. Time to see how this all plays out, I guess.
Oh, Luke, darling, my love. What do you think you're doing out here this late?
The woman that stands there is the one that I married. The love of my life. So why is it that the look she gives me now makes me feel so revolted? Makes it so that there is just a general sense of wrongness in the way she smiles at me.
Hana! Oh, thank goodness, it's just you. Oh, you gave me quite the fright. We've been looking all over for you.
Saying this makes my tongue feel heavy. I'm so used to lying, to putting on a face, but this just feels so wrong. It's such a small lie, yet a big one at that. To be afraid at the sight of my own wife for no apparent reason is illogical. Yet her mere presence has been disturbing. From her suddenly devoted and near-dependent nature, her obsession and possessiveness, to her strange way of speaking, something has been wrong with Hana as of late. I didn't want to admit it, but it was almost as if she'd turned into another person overnight. And looking up at her now only seems to solidify this. It's almost as if I can't recognize my own wife.
Fetch me. Whatever for, my prince?
Hana? Question mark? Ooh.
Look, that doesn't matter right now. You need to get out of this house right now, all right? Stay in the penthouse for a while.
Leave our home? What if I wish to stay?
It's not safe here, darling. Now is not the time to explain. Just listen to me. Okay, Buttercup?
I hold out my hand to her, in the hopes that she won't ask any more questions. I shove away the ill thoughts I have about her, about how this is not the wife I've married. People change, and now is not the time to have some sort of existential crisis about it. Our safety is priority right now, and I'll feel better about all of this as long as I can have her by my side. But she barely budges from her place atop the stairs, let alone take my hand. And the way she looks at me just sends chills down my spine.
Why should I? Is something the matter? What about you? Are you not coming with?
What was I supposed to say? Where to even start? Maybe just confess there's some crazy lady roaming around and I'd really like it if we just stayed safe?
You just need to leave for a while so I can let security sweep the place. And someone has to be there, yes? To supervise and all. That'll be my job, Buttercup.
Still. Nothing. She doesn't move from where she stands. Still with that amused grin on her face. As if this is all some funny joke and she's the only one who can see the punchline.
But I do not wish to leave. And you should not either. You've just arrived, my prince. This is your home. Our home. Would you really allow others to drive us away from it?
Be that as it may, it is dangerous here right now, and I'd rather have you safe than, oh, I don't know, comfortable or whatever argument you wish to bring up. This is ridiculous, Hana. We shouldn't be discussing this. You need to leave now. Let me handle things here, Buttercup.
Uh-oh. Probably didn't like that very much, I'm guessing. Although baffled and disturbed by Hana's odd behavior, Luke tried to urge Hana to leave. She flatly refused, and when Luke angrily insisted, it was then when the whole house shifted before his eyes. It is then that her expression turns absolutely horrific, and everything turns to complete and utter shite. Hana's body shudders and shakes as if she's about to have a seizure, until her visage ripples and changes. Golden yellow hair is slowly stained with inky black. So that happens again, like when she possesses her corpse. Interesting. And her face melts into that of the woman, the maid from before, with a menacing expression on her face. Interesting. So is Hana just gone, or can she, like, literally change physical people's appearances too? Along with it is the shifting of the very ground we stand on. It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan, blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls and stains the floor. I'm just curious if it will let me skip, because this is very different, yet also very familiar. It's familiar
Don't
enough.
listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. We bought this house weeks ago. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire lifetime, I've only made and kept sincere promises to a mere 2 people. Hana Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. I wonder why I stopped there. The rest of those who claim I promise anything to them can go fuck themselves. There's nothing for me here, not anymore. Nothing to keep tied to this place. With Hana beyond saving, no longer the same woman I knew, and Troken likely taken by this woman, nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave. I can... trip. Interesting. So that didn't really play out all that much differently. I thought for sure she'd have like a couple new things to say, but apparently not. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 5 of us in this room, 3 of them friends at that. Though Mint has already gone loon, crouched in a corner and muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. I cannot trust anyone. But can I skip?
Hana would still be.
Suddenly, Daisy steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand.
Don't you dare, Luke! Don't you dare put that blame on us!
Eh? Nope. Without batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off in this instant, said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. I should have expected she's not the kind to submit even under threat. Right now, all of us appears smaller facing her anger.
Last I checked, we're the ones trying to do the saving here.
Oh, hello. Becca, come out from underwater, please. The gall of these people. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to their attempts to defend themselves. Did they all take me for someone with half a brain? I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. It doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. One of us here, in particular, amidst the furor, I can never remember how to say furor? I can never remember how to pronounce that. Mint suddenly stands. I've almost forgotten she's here, her ramblings having faded away in the shouting. And without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. I might be able to skip? Yes, I can. Ooh. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we didn't get a choice to burn the letter or burn the house, because Bella is not here. So I just want to make sure I get a save. I guess here. Yeah, that'll work. Just in case. So I can look at my branching tree. Oh, actually, this is an even better place to do it. Wow. So the whole study thing really did not play out that much more differently. He agreed with Marianne and burned the letter. And didn't have to see Hana at all again. Interesting. Okay, this is very nice and quiet though, so I'm gonna take that. So what happens in the epilogue? I at least know Bella's thing's gonna be different, at the very least. Although his involvement with other crimes is still being investigated, the disclosure has caused a huge outcry, especially from the city's business sector. Sued on multiple grounds, the company is ultimately forced to shut down. Okay, so he leaves. Ah. She meets the man in the local marketplace, newly settled, fumbling and confused. Although her opinion of him remains ambivalent at best, she reluctantly offers help, especially after seeing him stumble on his Gaelic more times than she deems acceptable. And it becomes a start. Not to a close friendship by any means, but perhaps something akin to it. And on better days, when vitriol and scathing words don't get in the way, there's only the pleasant companionship one offers to the other. Casual visits to the other's home, sharing a bottle of wine or two, and simply talking about anything under the sun. A comfort after their mutual loss. Something they both eventually learn to appreciate with time. A mutual loss, eh? But, people are friends. Amidst her struggles, Rebecca finds an unlikely companion in Luke Wright. While he avoids the city like a plague nowadays after losing both his company and Hana, he manages to drop by from time to time. Mostly to check on his goddaughter Kylie Suarez, though the man still won't admit it when asked. Rebecca still regards the man as insufferable. She doubts it'll ever change. But after all she has seen, much as she denies it, she now considers his presence the closest thing she has to comfort. A similar sentiment the former businessman seems to hold, even confiding in the woman of his problems, petty or otherwise. Their friendship may be awkward at best, but with the grim reality of death having once shadowed over the two of them, it's something they eventually grow fond of in time. Ashton Frey, what happened with you? Aww, dwindling hope. They're all visiting her still. She's still unconscious. My girl. In spite of the huge changes in their lives, Rebecca, Ashton, and Zach never forget to visit Isabella Santos. Bringing little stories they have no idea if she ever hears, but tells nevertheless, carrying a small prayer that they won't lose her. When they can afford it, they also help her aunt in caring for her. Something the woman appreciates, knowing she can't be there for the sleeping girl every hour of the day. However, though they want to remain optimistic on Isabella's chances, it dwindles with every failed attempt of the doctors to bring her out of coma, and each passing day the girl stays unconscious. Amidst the constant beeping of machines in her room, optimism is the only thing they can hold on to. Aww. Poor Bella. Okay, so she didn't come out of her coma. I do wonder if there's an ending where she does. I mean, she's technically still alive. And if you're wondering why I'm letting the credits roll, it's because I've been told that with Hana being possessed, there's a different after credits scene, so I don't know what that means, but we're gonna find out what it means. Because I have questions, like, Hana was just changed into the maid at the end of it all. Just like when her body was when Luke murdered her. So this gives me things to think about. 'Cause I'm like, well, at first I thought maybe Hana had come back when she was like, oh Luke, you know, what happened after she passed out? But now I wonder if maybe the ghost can only possess a body for a amount of time? And so she had like been in Hana for too long and that's why she passed out and had to rest for a bit. And then she was on the balcony watching Luke and then she was back in Hana again. But then there's the whole thing of like Hana went to the hospital. No. They were back by then, right? I was thinking about the ballroom, right? Where Luke sees the maid and has like the flashbacks of memories. And then he runs. And I think he runs into Johans, and Johans had gone with Hana to the hospital, and I think that's the same night that everybody shows up at the mansion, so she was missing. So they were back by that point. I'm starting to, like, here's my current theory now with that. It's like, the ghost can possess a body, anybody she kills. It's just a body at that point, and she can then inhabit them and change them to look like her. So that's why sometimes you can fight her off physically. But then that doesn't make sense for when she shows up in Bella's room, because it's not like Bella, I mean, I hope Bella doesn't have a dead person under her bed. Because Luke was able to kick her in the face. My theory was, like, maybe she takes on a body at sometimes, and so she can be physically dealt with. But then when she's just, like, incorporeal and can show up anywhere, then you can't hurt her, and she can hurt you? I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Darn, I thought I was onto something there. But yeah, it definitely seems like she can just change her appearance at will. We saw a little bit of that in Marianne's ending in the prison, where she takes on the appearance of Charlotte for like a half a second. I still need more info. Still need more info. That definitely gave me a lot more stuff to think about, though, I will say. Man, what a crazy run that was. It played out so differently. I'm so excited to see what our branching tree percentages are up to now. Luke's will probably go up like 1. I'll be like, how is that possible? I did so much with you! Alright, let's cross fingers for Kylie. Kylie?
Teal? Where are you, Teal?
She still sounds scared.
Teal? Please? She's here!
Okay, so nothing changed?
She's still here, Teal!
Oh no, that's so much worse. Hana, no, 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 no.
Help me! Please!
No, Hana, don't. Not to your goddaughter, Hana! No! Oh, God. I'm leaving. I'm leaving that forever. Oh, poor Kylie. Poor Kylie. Oh, no. It did change, but it was so... Brain is just like... thinking about things. I'm thinking about things. Things are being thought about. Let's look at our branching tree. Isabella, 100%. Yay! Look, yes, I'm moving swiftly on from Kylie. Sorry, I'm just like my poor girl. I'm so sorry I had to watch you die again. Okay, so 100% with Isabella. Hana is at 98. Ooh, 98. What are we missing with you? What's... oh. Is that really all there is? Hold on. That's it? Oh, man. Okay, well, next run, definitely getting Hana to 100%. I've lost you. Just gotta turn QTEs and die there. Okay. No problem. Zachary, 96. Wow. Okay, so there's a couple of things... Okay, so a couple of variant options. I guess with Bella being in the hospital. So we should be able to knock those off. Yeah, we should be able to knock these off. Potentially get Zachary to 100% next run. Oh, there's this whole thing that wasn't done. Interesting. ending 2 variant A? Ending 1. What is ending 2 variant A? What is that? Oh, these are the death. Oh, okay, so when he dies, there's a variant. Okay. Marianne finally is at 100. Yes. I thought I was gonna be at 100 ages ago. Now it's finally done. Grand. Rebecca's at 89 now. So what is... Okay, a couple... Oh, there's quite a few locked ones there. Man, we really moved Becca, though. What's this? Okay, this is with Ash. So... can probably knock those out next time for sure. Okay, we can go after Zach. Although there's other options with... Oh my goodness, there's still some stuff there that would take more than one more playthrough. Definitely would take more than one more playthrough for Becca. Ashton's at 87 now. Can't believe it. He and Luke were the lowest for a long time. Luke is still really low. Just by the by, I'm not thrilled about that, but... Okay, I'm like, what are we skipping? Then we went up here this time. Okay. There's still, like, a bunch of, like, stuff here. Just, like... Oh, a bunch of butterflies got unlocked there, but not there. And then we skipped all that. Man. The branching trees! Huh. Oof. Oif. Oifa. That's what I gotta say to that. Whew. I forgot how crazy it gets over here. Look at all those butterflies. Luke, 38. I think we moved that up like maybe 10 or something in this. So we went to the bottom. And then there's a bunch of locked stuff. Interesting. What is that goes up? Okay, avoided some stuff, then we went up. We're in the thick of it. Okay, we really unlocked a lot of butterflies there, which is delightful. Wonder if this is the whole study situation. Possibly, but we're way too early for that, for it to be the study. Okay. And then we skipped basically everything. Oof. Okay, so this was part of a previous run, but it went up instead of down. Okay. Interesting. Look at all of these like they haven't even been started. I thought for sure we were going to start on like these. What are these? What are those? What does it mean? Okay, well. I guess that happened. How are we doing for endings too? Well, that's nice. You like to see 100% on the backgrounds. Chapter 7 is still missing an item sprite. Interesting. CGs. Still, 7 still has like quite a bit apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. 2 memory fragments. The miscellaneous is now done because we've got the Hana variant, which is great. So we're at 74% of the epilogue. The only thing that's still 100% is the romance endings. We're at 94% with friendship, though. There's one missing there. Just one. We're missing one friendship ending. It's pretty good. Individual bad is still, like, really hard to get. I just like everybody. So that counts as a bad ending. Interesting. The group visiting Isabella at the end is a bad end. Does that mean there's a good end where Bella comes out of it? Questions. So many questions. Huh. Alright, though. There you go, guys. That was our first run with the alternate endings, and, Luke's chapter didn't play out as differently as I was hoping it would. It definitely affected the Scooby gang more so than the Luke Marianne gang. But still interesting nonetheless. I have a lot to ponder, to say the least. If this guys gave you any new theories, I'd love to hear them down below as well. But that is the end of our run for right now. Next time, I'm going to be going through those same endings with Bella and Hana again. Bella being in a coma, Hana being possessed. But this time everyone's going to die instead. So we'll see how that shakes things up. So hopefully I will see you there for that, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. And until next time, I will see you later.